The rain came down like judgment. Emma Rodriguez stood under the awning of Sterling Enterprises, watching water hammer the pavement, turning the city into a blur of neon and brake lights. Her phone buzzed. Mom, again. Can you send extra this month? Your brother needs new shoes. Emma's chest tightened. She did the math in her head. Taxi meant no groceries until Friday. Bus meant 2 transfers in this weather, arriving home soaked and shivering. The black sedan appeared like something out of a dream, sleek, expensive, water beating off its polished surface. Emma stepped back, making room for whatever executive was about to emerge. Instead, the window rolled down. He was younger than she expected. Sharp jawline, dark hair perfectly styled despite the humidity, eyes the color of storm clouds. White shirt, sleeves rolled to reveal forearms that suggested he did more than just drive cars for a living. You work here? His voice cut through the rain's static. Deep, measured. Just started this week, Emma said, clutching her worn bag tighter. He glanced at the sky, then back at her. Rain's getting worse. Where are you headed? Riverside Gardens District. She paused. It's far. I can take the bus. Something flickered across his face. Amusement, maybe. Or recognition. Get in. I'll drive you. Emma's instincts screamed caution. But the company logo was barely visible on the sedan's door, and the rain was soaking through her jacket, cold fingers reaching for her skin. She got in. The interior smelled like leather and cedar. Expensive. The kind of car she'd only seen in magazines. He pulled away from the curb with the ease of someone who'd done this 1,000 times. First week, you said? Yes. Emma watched the city slide past the tinted windows. It's been intense. Sterling Enterprises is known for taking care of its people. Is it? She caught the edge in his voice. I've heard that. Guess I'll find out if it's true. He smiled slightly. What do you do there? Data analysis. Finance department. It's mostly numbers and patterns, but I like it. There's something honest about data. It doesn't lie. Unlike people. Emma turned to study his profile. You sound like you know that firsthand. He didn't answer immediately. The rain filled the silence between them, a rhythm that felt almost intimate. Everyone lies, he said finally. The question is why? That's cynical. That's experience. Emma should have felt uncomfortable. This stranger, this too handsome driver with his cryptic comments and expensive cologne, but something about the cocoon of the car, the anonymity of the rain, made her want to keep talking. My family depends on me, she heard herself say. My father had a stroke 2 years ago. Mom works as a seamstress, but it's not enough. I send money home every month. He glanced at her, and for a moment, something raw flickered in those storm-colored eyes. That's admirable. Most people your age only think about themselves. I don't see it as a choice. That's what makes it admirable. They drove through her neighborhood, the contrast stark. Glass towers gave way to brick buildings, laundry hanging despite the weather, corner stores with flickering signs. Third building, Emma directed. Blue awning. He pulled up smoothly, but didn't unlock the doors. Emma gathered her bag, suddenly reluctant to leave. Thank you, really. You saved me from a miserable commute. It was my pleasure. He meant it. She could tell. The words came out before she could stop them. Would you like to come up? For coffee? As a thank you? His eyebrows rose. The silence stretched, and Emma felt her cheeks burning. Then he turned off the engine. Coffee sounds nice. They ran through the rain, Emma fumbling with keys, her heart pounding. 3 flights up, her tiny apartment felt smaller with him in it, his presence filling the space like smoke. It's not much, she said, defensive. It's clean, organized. He sat on her second-hand couch like he belonged there. That says something about you. Emma made coffee, hyper-aware of his gaze following her movements. When she brought the mugs over, sitting in the armchair across from him, he took a sip and nodded. Your grandmother's recipe? She blinked. How did you know that? You seem like someone who values family traditions. They talked. Hours dissolved. He deflected every personal question, turning conversations back to her with surgical precision. Emma found herself sharing things she'd never told anyone. Her father's hardware store, her brother's engineering dreams, her fear that she'd never be enough. You're good at that, she said finally. Avoiding questions about yourself. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Old habit. In my line of work, listening is safer than talking. What exactly is your line of work? I drive people where they need to go. That's not an answer. It's the only one I can give right now. Emma set down her mug. Why did you really stop for me tonight? Company drivers don't usually offer rides to junior analysts. He stood, moving to the window, watching the rain. When he turned back, his expression was unreadable. Maybe I wanted to know what it's like. What's like? To be seen as just a driver. The air shifted. Emma felt something cold slide down her spine. What does that mean? He pulled a business card from his pocket, placed it on her coffee table. The motion was deliberate, almost ceremonial. Emma picked it up. Read it again. Alexander Sterling, Chief Executive Officer, Sterling Enterprises. The room tilted. Her coffee mug slipped from her fingers, shattering on the floor, but she barely heard it. You're not a driver. No. His voice was soft, almost apologetic. I'm not. Emma stood, legs unsteady. You let me think. I told you everything, about my family, my struggles, and you just sat there pretending to be someone you could trust? The words hit like a slap. Get out. Emma, let me explain. Get out. He moved toward the door, then stopped. I'll see you at work tomorrow. We need to talk about your position. The door closed behind him with a soft click. Emma stood alone in her tiny apartment, staring at the broken mug, coffee seeping into her cheap rug, and felt something inside her crack, just as completely. Her phone buzzed. A notification. Her bank account. A deposit. $50,000. And a message from an unknown number. I heard what you said about merit. Let's see if you really believe that. Emma didn't sleep. She spent the night on her bathroom floor, laptop balanced on her knees, transferring the money back. $50,000. Back into the void. Back to him. Her hands shook as she typed the message. I don't accept charity. Especially not from liars. She hit send at 4:47 a.m. By 5:03 a.m., her phone rang. Unknown number. You sent it back. His voice, rough with something she couldn't name. Surprise, respect? I told you. I believe in merit. Emma, that money wasn't charity. It was a signing bonus. Everyone in your position gets one. Convenient timing. Silence. Then softer. I know you don't believe me. Come to work today. Check with HR. Ask anyone. Why should I trust anything you say? Because despite what you think, I've never lied to you. You pretended to be a driver. You assumed I was a driver. I never said I was. The distinction felt like splitting hairs, but technically, he was right. Emma hated that he was right. Why? Her voice cracked. Why did you do it? Because for 1 hour I wanted to be invisible. And you made me feel seen. The line went dead. Emma arrived at Sterling Enterprises at 7 a.m., eyes burning, pride wrapped around her like armor. She went straight to HR. The woman, Patricia, mid-50s with kind eyes, pulled up her file. Signing bonus, $50,000. Standard for your level. Patricia smiled. Though between you and me, most people don't try to give it back. Mr. Sterling was quite amused. Emma felt her face heat. He told you? He approved the retransfer personally. At 5 a.m. Patricia leaned forward, voice dropping. He doesn't usually handle such things himself. You must have made an impression. Emma spent the morning avoiding everyone, head down, drowning in spreadsheets. At 11:37 a.m., her desk phone rang. Ms. Rodriguez, Mr. Sterling's office. He'd like to see you. Now. The executive floor was glass and steel and silence. Emma's shoes clicked against marble. The secretary, an elegant woman in her 60s, gestured to massive double doors. He's expecting you. The office was enormous, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, modern art on the walls, and Alexander Sterling, standing by the window, hands in his pockets, looking like he belonged in a magazine spread. Close the door. Emma did, but stayed near it. Escape route, he turned. In daylight, he was almost too handsome. Sharp features, those impossible eyes, a jawline that could cut glass. But there were shadows under his eyes. He hadn't slept either. You're angry, observant. You have every right to be. I don't need your permission to feel my own feelings. A ghost of a smile. Fair. Emma crossed her arms. Why am I here? Because I owe you an explanation. You don't owe me anything. I'm just an employee. Junior analyst. Easily replaced. Something flashed across his face. Pain, maybe? You're not easily replaced. You don't know anything about me. I know you support your entire family on an entry-level salary. I know you chose the bus over a taxi to save $12. I know your coffee is excellent and your apartment is spotless and you have a plant on your windowsill that's barely alive, but you keep watering it anyway because you don't give up on things. Emma's throat tightened. Observant driver. I wasn't pretending yesterday. Not about the important things. Then what were you doing? He moved closer. Not threatening, just present. Do you know what it's like to never know if people want you or what you can give them? Must be hard being rich. It is. No defensiveness. Just truth. My last relationship 3 years ago, she sold our private conversations to a tabloid for $500,000. Before that, a business partner who I considered a friend tried to stage a hostile takeover using information I'd shared in confidence. My own cousin tried to have me declared mentally incompetent to take control of the company. Emma's anger wavered. That's not my problem. No. But maybe you understand why I wanted one conversation where someone didn't know who I was. Didn't want something from me. Except you took that choice away from me. You let me talk about my life, my struggles, and the whole time you were judging whether I was worthy. I wasn't judging you. His voice dropped, intense. I was envying you. Envying me? Emma laughed, sharp and bitter. I'm drowning in debt. My father can't walk. My mother's hands are arthritic from sewing. What exactly is enviable? You know who you are. You know what matters. You're not performing for anyone. And you are? Every single day. The honesty in his voice stopped her. Emma studied him, really looked, saw the tension in his shoulders, the exhaustion in his eyes, the careful control of every micro-expression. That sounds lonely, she said quietly. It is. Silence stretched between them. Outside, the city moved, oblivious. I should get back to work. Emma, wait. He pulled something from his desk drawer, a file folder. I have a proposition. I'm not interested in propositions from billionaires who play dress-up. This isn't personal. It's professional. He held out the folder. The VP of Finance is retiring in 6 months. The position requires someone with analytical skills, ethical standards, and the ability to see through corporate politics. Emma didn't take the folder. I've been here a week. And in that week, you've already identified 3 accounting discrepancies no one else caught. Your reports are meticulous. Your insights are sharp. You're exactly what this company needs. What's the catch? The catch is that I'm personally sponsoring your advancement, which means people will assume we're involved. They'll question your merit. They'll say you slept your way to the top. Emma felt cold. Then why offer it? Because you're the best person for the job, and I'm betting you're strong enough to prove them wrong. Or you're setting me up to fail so you can feel better about your guilty conscience. His jaw tightened. I'm setting you up to succeed. What you do with the opportunity is up to you. Emma stared at the folder. 6 months to VP, a salary that would change her family's life, her brother's education, her father's care, her mother's retirement, but at what cost? I need to think about it. You have until Monday. He set the folder on the desk between them. Emma, for what it's worth, I am sorry. Not for wanting to be invisible for an hour, but for the position it put you in. She turned to leave, hand on the door. One more thing, he said. The coffee, in your apartment. That was the best hour I've had in 3 years. Emma looked back. He stood silhouetted against the windows, looking more alone than anyone she'd ever seen. It was just coffee, Mr. Sterling. I know. That's what made it perfect. She left, closing the door softly. In the elevator, Emma opened her phone, scrolled to a number she'd been avoiding. Her brother, asking if she could pay for his robotics competition entry fee. $500 she didn't have. The elevator reached the finance floor. The doors opened. Emma didn't get out. She pressed the button for the executive floor. The secretary looked up, surprised. Ms. Rodriguez? Tell Mr. Sterling I accept, but I have conditions, the secretary smiled. He thought you might. He's waiting. 3 months later, Emma stood in Alexander Sterling's office at midnight, rain streaking the windows like tears, papers scattered across his desk, evidence of what she'd found. "You need to see this." He looked up from his laptop, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up. The Alexander she'd grown to know. Not the CEO, just the man. "It's midnight, Emma. This can wait until morning." "No, it can't." She slid the folder across his desk. "I was running the quarterly projections. Something didn't add up in the overseas accounts." He opened the folder. His expression didn't change, but she'd learned to read him. The slight tension in his jaw. The way his fingers stilled. How much? 37 million. Over 2 years. Routed through shell companies. Laundered through real estate holdings. "Who?" Emma's throat tightened. "Marcus. Your CFO. Alexander's best friend. The man who'd stood beside him through every corporate battle. The one person he said he trusted absolutely." "You're certain?" "I've checked 3 times. The pattern is clear." She pulled out another document. "But there's more. The money isn't just disappearing. It's being used to buy shares. He's staging a takeover, Alexander. Using your own company's money." He stood, moving to the window. Lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating his face. He looked carved from stone. "How long have you known?" "I found the first discrepancy 6 weeks ago. I've been tracking it since." 6 weeks. He turned. "Why didn't you come to me immediately?" "Because I needed to be sure. Because Marcus has been your friend for 15 years. Because I knew what this would cost you." Something in his eyes softened. "And you tried to protect me." "I tried to be thorough. Emma." He closed the distance between them. They'd been doing this dance for months. Getting closer. Never touching. The air between them always electric. "Thank you. What are you going to do?" "Confront him, tomorrow, with the board present. He'll deny it. Claim I fabricated the evidence because I'm your protégé. Then we'll be thorough." His hand rose, almost touching her face, then fell. "You've become invaluable to me. You know that, don't." Emma stepped back. "Don't confuse professional respect with something else." What if it is something else? The question hung between them, dangerous and thrilling and terrifying. Emma's phone buzzed. "Mom," she answered, grateful for the interruption. "Emma, Mija, it's your father. The hospital called. He's had another stroke. They say we need to decide about surgery. $20,000. The insurance won't cover it." The world tilted. "I'll figure it out." "I'll call you back." She hung up. Alexander was watching. "Your father. He needs surgery. 20,000. She laughed, sharp and broken. 3 months ago, that would have been impossible. Now it's just difficult. "I can write you a check right now." "No." The word came out harder than she intended. "I won't owe you anything personal." "It's not personal. It's human decency. Everything between us is personal, Alexander. We both know it." The admission hung in the air, true and terrible and finally spoken. "Then let me be personal," he said quietly. "Let me help the woman who's become essential to my life in ways that have nothing to do with business." "I can't. Don't you see? The moment I accept anything from you beyond my salary, every accusation becomes true. I become the girl who traded favors, the woman who couldn't make it on merit, even if it means your father suffers." The cruelty of the question made her flinch. "But it was fair. I'll take out a loan. I'll figure it out. Emma." He moved closer, close enough that she could smell his cologne, see the gold flecks in his gray eyes. "Your pride will get you killed. Better that than lose myself." His hand cupped her face. She should pull away. She didn't. "You're the most stubborn woman I've ever met." "You're not the first person to say that." "I'm falling for you." The words landed like grenades. Emma's breath caught. "Don't. Too late. Alexander, we can't. You're my boss. My sponsor. Everyone already thinks I'm sleeping with you for the promotion." "What if I don't care what they think?" "I do. Because when this ends, and it will end, you'll still be a billionaire. You'll be fine. But I'll be the cautionary tale. The girl who aimed too high and crashed." Pain flickered across his face. "You think I'd let that happen?" "I think you can't stop it. No matter how much power you have." He dropped his hand. "You're right. I'm sorry." The loss of his touch felt physical. "I should go. Deal with the hospital." "Emma." He returned to his desk, pulled out his checkbook. I said no. This isn't from me. It's from the company. We have an emergency fund for employee medical crises. I'm simply expediting your application. That's a lie. It's a lie that saves your father's life. Take it. Emma stared at the check. $20,000. Her father's surgery. Her family's survival. I'll pay it back. Every cent. I know you will. She took the check, hating herself, hating him, hating the relief flooding through her. Thank you. Come here. Before she could overthink it, he pulled her into his arms. It wasn't romantic. It was comfort. She let herself have it for 10 seconds. Then pulled away. I'll see you tomorrow. For Marcus. Emma. He caught her hand. Whatever happens tomorrow, whatever he says or does, I believe you. I trust you. Those words meant more than the check. She left his office, took the elevator down, stepped into the rain. Her phone buzzed. A news alert. Sterling Enterprises CFO Marcus Chen announces engagement to Victoria Ashford, heiress to Ashford Industries. Merger talks underway. Emma's blood went cold. She pulled up the financial records on her phone. Ashford Industries, the shell companies, the real estate holdings. Marcus wasn't just stealing money. He was orchestrating a merger that would dilute Alexander's control, hand power to Victoria's family, and leave him with nothing. And the engagement announcement was today. Hours before their meeting tomorrow, Marcus knew. Someone had warned him. Emma turned back to the building. Security had already locked the doors. She called Alexander. Emma, did you forget something? Don't go home tonight. What? Marcus knows. The announcement, the timing, it's not coincidence. Someone in your inner circle tipped him off. If he knows about tomorrow's meeting, he'll move faster. Emma, you're being paranoid. Am I? Check your email. Check for anything from Marcus in the last hour. Silence. Then there's a message. He wants to meet tonight. Says it's urgent. About discrepancies in the overseas accounts. Emma's heart raced. He's going to accuse you. Frame you for the embezzlement before you can expose him. That's insane. The board knows me. The board knows Marcus, too. And he has Victoria Ashford's family backing now. Alexander, if he makes the accusation first, if he has any shred of evidence planted, you'll spend months fighting to clear your name. By then, the merger will be complete. What do I do? Meet with him, but not alone. Record everything. And Alexander. Her voice dropped. Don't trust anyone. I trust you. The line went dead. Emma stood in the rain, staring at the darkened building, and felt the weight of everything shifting. Her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. You should have stayed out of it. Now you've become a liability. And the message deleted itself as she watched. Emma ran. Emma burst into Alexander's office at 1:43 a.m. He was still there, jacket discarded, looking at something on his computer screen. His face was pale. Marcus sent over his evidence. Emma, it's bad. She crossed to him. On the screen, financial documents. Her signature, her employee ID, transactions she'd never made, routing money to accounts she'd never opened. That's not real. I know. His voice was hollow. But it looks real. Someone with access to internal systems created this. Someone who knew exactly what they were doing. When is he coming? 30 minutes. With his lawyer and 3 board members. Emma's mind raced. The security footage. The building logs every entry. Every computer login. Marcus has access to security. If he's been planning this, he's already scrubbed anything useful. Then we need something he can't scrub. Alexander turned to her. What are you thinking? Your private server. The one you told me about. The backup of all company communications. That's legally protected. We can't access it without board approval. You can't. But I'm just a junior analyst who happens to have system admin credentials you gave me for the audit. If I access it, it's not an executive overreach. It's an employee doing research. Emma, if this backfires, you'll be charged with corporate espionage. And if we do nothing, you lose everything. She sat at his computer. Tell me the access codes. He hesitated. Then rattled off a series of numbers. Emma's fingers flew across the keyboard. The private server opened. Thousands of emails. She filtered by Marcus's account, date range covering the last 2 years. There. She pointed. Email to Victoria Ashford. 8 months ago. Look at the subject line, re. Neutralizing the competition. Alexander leaned over her shoulder. She opened it. Victoria, the plan is proceeding. Once we have the evidence planted against Rodriguez, Sterling will have no choice but to back the merger. She's his weakness. Use her to destroy him. Emma's blood turned to ice. This started 8 months ago, before I even worked here, which means they've been planning this since your interview. Alexander's voice was tight. They didn't target you because of me. They targeted me through you. How did they know you'd notice me? He didn't answer immediately. Then quietly, because Marcus knew I was lonely. He suggested I personally review the new analyst applications. He specifically flagged yours, said you reminded him of someone who could bring fresh perspective. The pieces clicked into place. He set us up. The ride home, the coffee, all of it. He knew you'd do something like that. He was counting on it. The car. Alexander's face hardened. Marcus borrowed my car that day. Said his was in the shop. I didn't think anything of it. He probably had it waiting, watching. When I left the building, he texted you to come pick me up, didn't he? Alexander pulled out his phone, scrolled back 3 months. Showed her the message. Your new analyst is working late. Impressive dedication. You should see for yourself. Emma felt sick. Every moment of that rainy evening, the conversation, the connection, the beginning of whatever this was between them, it had all been orchestrated. I'm sorry, Alexander said. For what? For making you a target. For being predictable enough that my own best friend could manipulate me. He manipulated both of us. Emma turned back to the computer. But he made a mistake. He documented it. We have proof. It won't matter if he makes his accusation first. Then we beat him to it. Emma started downloading files. How long until he gets here? 20 minutes. Call the board. All of them. Tell them there's an emergency meeting. Now. Make it mandatory. Emma, at 2 a.m., trust me. He stared at her for a long moment, then picked up his phone. While he made calls, Emma organized the evidence. Emails, financial trails, the fake documents with her signature superimposed using software purchased on Marcus's corporate credit card. It was all there, sloppy in retrospect. But it would have worked if they hadn't been looking. The board arrived within 30 minutes. Some in suits, others in casual clothes, all furious at being summoned. Marcus arrived with them, Victoria on his arm, both impeccably dressed, like they'd been expecting this. Alexander. Marcus smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. I see you got my email. Saves me the trouble of explaining. Sit down, Marcus. Something in Alexander's voice made the room go silent. I'd rather stand. This won't take long. Marcus pulled out a tablet. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I've discovered evidence of embezzlement. $37 million, stolen over 2 years by someone we trusted. Emma Rodriguez. The board erupted. Emma stood still, letting them shout. Alexander's voice cut through the chaos. Present your evidence. Marcus projected files onto the screen. Emma's signature, her login credentials, transactions stamped with her employee ID. As you can see, Ms. Rodriguez has been systematically stealing from this company since the day she was hired, using her position as Alexander's protege to avoid scrutiny. Interesting theory. Emma's voice was calm. But you made 3 mistakes. Marcus's smile faltered. Excuse me? First, those signatures. I signed my name Emma M. Rodriguez. Always have. You used Emma Rodriguez. The M is for Maria, my grandmother's name. I never omitted in official documents. She projected a file onto the screen. Here are all my actual signatures from the last 3 months. Notice the pattern? Murmurs from the board. Skin mistake. My login credentials. You have my username right. But the system logs show these transactions happened from IP addresses I've never used, including one from Marcus Chen's home office. Marcus's face paled. That's impossible. Third mistake. Emma locked eyes with him. You documented your entire plan in emails to Victoria Ashford, including your intention to frame me as a scapegoat for your embezzlement scheme. She projected the emails. The room went deadly silent. These are fabricated, Marcus said, but his voice shook. The server's timestamps are tamper-proof, Alexander said coldly. You know that, Marcus. You helped design the security. Victoria stood abruptly. This is ridiculous. Marcus, we're leaving. Sit down, Ms. Ashford. Board Chair Richardson, a woman in her 70s with steel in her eyes, stood. You're named in several of these emails. As far as I'm concerned, you're complicit. You can't keep me here. Actually, corporate fraud is a criminal matter. Security has already contacted the authorities. Richardson turned to Marcus. You've served this company for 15 years. I'd like to believe there's an explanation. Marcus looked at Alexander. You'd really do this? To me? After everything we've been through? You tried to destroy me using the woman I care about. You stole from the company we built together. What did you think would happen? I think you became weak. Marcus's facade cracked. The great Alexander Sterling, brought down by a girl from nowhere. Do you know what it's like? Standing in your shadow for 15 years? Watching you get credit for ideas I developed? You think your brilliance built this empire? It was my work. My strategies. Then you should have asked for recognition, not betrayed everything we stood for. Recognition? Marcus laughed bitterly. From you? The golden boy who inherited his position? Some of us had to earn our place. So did I. Alexander said quietly. Every single day, police entered. Marcus was read his rights. As they led him away, he looked at Emma. You think you've won? You've just painted a target on your back. Victoria's family doesn't forget. Emma didn't flinch. Let them come. Victoria was escorted out next, her lawyer already on the phone. The board dispersed, some looking shaken, others grim. Richardson approached Emma. Quick thinking, Ms. Rodriguez. You saved this company substantial damage. I just did my job. Your job just became considerably more important. As of now, you're interim CFO. We'll make it permanent after a probationary period, assuming Mr. Sterling has no objections. Alexander met Emma's eyes across the room. None whatsoever. Richardson left. Suddenly they were alone. You did it, Alexander said. We did it. He crossed to her. Emma, I need to tell you something. When I said I was falling for you, I was lying. Her heart stopped. What? I've already fallen. Completely. I'm just trying to figure out how to land without destroying you. Emma touched his face. What if I'm already falling too? Then we're both in trouble, he kissed her. Soft and desperate and inevitable. Her phone rang. Mom, Emma answered. Mija, the surgery. It went well. Your father is awake. He's asking for you. I'll be there in an hour. She hung up. Alexander was watching her. Go. Be with your family. Come with me. Emma, I can't just show up to your family hospital room. Yes, you can. Because I'm done hiding. I'm done letting other people's judgment dictate my choices. If they think I'm with you for money, let them think it. I know the truth. What truth? That I chose you before I knew who you were. And I'd choose you again. Something in his expression broke open. I don't deserve you. Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway. They left together, walking out of Sterling Enterprises as dawn broke over the city. Neither of them saw the figure watching from across the street. Phone camera raised, capturing the moment. By noon, the photo would be everywhere. By evening, Emma's world would shatter again. The photo went viral by 8 a.m. Emma and Alexander leaving the office together, his hand on her back, her looking up at him with unmistakable intimacy. The headlines were vicious. Gold Digger's Gambit, how Emma Rodriguez seduced her way to CFO Sterling's latest scandal. Promoted after hours from data entry to executive suite. One woman's shortcut to success. Emma sat in her father's hospital room. Phone buzzing with notifications she refused to check. Her mother squeezed her hand. Mija, what's happening? Nothing, Mama, just work drama. Her father, weak but awake, spoke in a raspy whisper. Emma, tell me the truth. She met his eyes. Saw the fear there, the worry, the love. I fell in love with my boss, and now everyone thinks I'm using him. Are you? No, Papa, I swear. I earned my position. Every step. Then hold your head high. People will always talk. Let them talk to your back as you walk forward. Her phone rang. Alexander. Emma, where are you? Hospital. With my family. Stay there. Don't come to the office. Why? What's happened? His voice was tight. The board had an emergency session. Richardson called. They're concerned about optics, about the company's reputation in light of the Marcus situation and now the photos. Emma's blood went cold. They want me to resign. They want me to fire you. For the good of the company. To show we take ethics seriously. And what did you say? I told them if you go, I go. Alexander, no. You can't do that. Sterling Enterprises is your life. You're my life, Emma. The company is just what I do. She closed her eyes. Listen to me carefully. You're going to fire me. What? No, absolutely not. You're going to fire me in a very public statement. You're going to say that our relationship compromised my judgment and position. You're going to distance yourself completely. Emma, I won't do that to you. You will. Because if you don't, Victoria's family will tear this company apart. They have the resources, the connections, and the motivation. Marcus's arrest gave them cause to claim hostile work environment, corporate manipulation, everything they need for a lawsuit that will drag on for years. I don't care. But I do. Because this company employs 15,000 people. People with families. People like me who need their paychecks. You want to protect me? Protect them. There has to be another way. There isn't. We both know it. Silence. Then, his voice breaking, I can't lose you. You're not losing me. You're setting me free. Emma wiped her eyes. I'll give you a statement. Make it clean. Professional. Then I disappear for a while. Let the story die. And us? There is no us. Not publicly. Maybe not ever. Emma, I have to go. My father needs me. She hung up before he could argue. By noon, the statement was released. Emma Rodriguez was terminated effective immediately due to ethical violations regarding workplace relationships. Alexander Sterling's statement was formal, cold, expressing disappointment and commitment to corporate integrity. Emma read it in the hospital cafeteria and felt something inside her break. Her phone buzzed. A text from Alexander's private number. This isn't over. I'll fix this. She deleted it. 3 weeks passed. Emma found a new job. Smaller company, lower pay, but honest work. She paid her father's remaining medical bills, helped her brother with his college applications, tried to rebuild a life that didn't revolve around Alexander Sterling. She lasted 23 days before showing up at his apartment at midnight. He opened the door, looking haggard, wearing sweatpants and an old t-shirt. Not the billionaire, just the man. Emma, I'm still angry at you. No. You didn't have to make the statement so cold. You told me to make it convincing. Hate that you listened. I hate everything about this. They stared at each other. Can I come in? He stepped aside. His apartment was enormous, minimalist, coldly perfect. Emma hated it. This place needs plants. I kill plants. So did I. You keep trying anyway. He moved closer. Why are you here, Emma? Because I tried walking away. I tried doing the noble thing, but it turns out I'm not that noble. What are you saying? I'm saying I don't care about the photos or the headlines or the judgment. I care about you, and I'm tired of pretending I don't. The board will never accept us being together. Then leave the board. Alexander stared at her. What? You heard me. Step down. Not because you have to, because you choose to. Let someone else run Sterling Enterprises. Be a major shareholder. Sit on advisory committees. But stop letting that company define your entire existence. Emma, that's insane. Is it? You told me once you envied my clarity, my knowledge of what matters. Well, this is what matters. Not money or power or reputation. This. Us. The choice to build something real. I've spent my entire life building Sterling Enterprises, and you can spend the rest of your life building something else. With me, if you want, he cupped her face. You're asking me to choose you over everything I've known. I'm asking you to choose yourself. I'm just hoping I'm part of that choice. You're the whole choice, Emma. You're the only choice that's ever made sense. He kissed her, and it felt like coming home. Move in with me, he said, against her lips. Your apartment is terrible. Then, we'll find a new one. Together. I can't afford half of anything you could afford. So, we'll find something you can afford, and I'll pay my half. She pulled back. You'd really do that? I'd live in your tiny apartment with the barely alive plant if it meant waking up next to you. That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. I'm just getting started. 6 months later, Emma stood in a modest 2-bedroom apartment in a middle-class neighborhood, watching Alexander attempt to assemble furniture from a box. This piece doesn't fit. That's because you're holding it upside down. Furniture should come pre-assembled. Then, it wouldn't be an IKEA adventure. He threw a screwdriver at her. She caught it, laughing. Alexander had stepped down as CEO, maintaining a board seat and advisory role. The new CEO was a woman named Sarah Chen, no relation to Marcus, who was currently serving a 5-year sentence for embezzlement. Emma had started her own consulting firm, helping small businesses with financial analysis. It was modest but growing, and entirely hers. They'd learned to navigate the stares, the whispers, the occasional cruel headline. Some days were harder than others, but they faced them together. Emma's phone rang. "Her brother, Emma, I got in! Full scholarship to MIT!" she screamed. Alexander looked up, alarmed. "Your brother?" "He got in. MIT engineering program." Alexander pulled her into his arms. "Your family must be so proud. They are. Papa cried when I told him I was seeing you. Not because he disapproved. Because he said you looked at me the way he looks at Mama. Smart man. Your father. He wants to meet you. Officially, family dinner next Sunday. Terrifying. Completely. I'll be there." They finished the furniture as evening fell, ordered takeout, sat on their new couch that Emma had picked out and Alexander had assembled incorrectly 3 times. "Do you miss it?" Emma asked. "The power, the office, the empire?" Alexander considered the question. "Sometimes. Then I come home to you, and I remember what empire actually matters." "That's cheesy. You love it?" "I really do." He kissed her temple. "Thank you. For what?" "For seeing me. Not the billionaire or the CEO or the scandal. Just me. Well, you did drive me home in the rain. Best decision I ever made. Even though I thought you were just a driver? Especially because you thought I was just a driver." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the city lights through their window. Not the penthouse view Alexander had left behind. Something better. Something real. Emma's phone buzzed. A news alert. Sterling Enterprises announces record profits under new leadership. Alexander glanced at it. Good for them. No regrets? Not a single one. Liar. Okay, maybe one regret. I wish I'd met you sooner. We met exactly when we needed to. When was that? When we were both ready to be seen. Outside, rain began to fall. Emma stood, pulled Alexander to his feet. "Dance with me. There's no music." "So? Dance with me anyway." They swayed in their small living room, rain drumming against the windows, the city breathing around them. 2 people who'd been lost, now found. 2 people who'd been invisible, now seen. Emma looked up at him. "I love you. I love you too. Even though I got you fired?" "You didn't get me fired. I chose to leave." Semantics. Important semantics. She laughed. "Alexander Sterling, what am I going to do with you?" "Love me. That's all I need. That's all you get. Then I'm the richest man in the world." They kept dancing as night fell completely, wrapped in each other, wrapped in the life they'd chosen, wrapped in the terrifying, beautiful certainty that sometimes the best things come from the worst circumstances. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find what really matters. Sometimes the driver isn't really a driver, and sometimes love is worth more than any empire. The end.